thing.
That'd be something, man. Do the whole thing and got to go back and do it again.
Oh, I've done that before.
Yeah,
I've done it now. Luckily, they're local, so it wasn't a big deal. But I can
that's
just
right. Yeah.
imagine. I can imagine if you had a big time act on or something. The next minute, you're like, "This was great, but do you mind doing it again?" And then they'd be like, "You mean like in a year?" I'd be like now." They'd be like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah, like imagine you had to do it. I was watching some of your things there, and John Stamos and all the big names, and I was like, holy jumpings. I was like, did this guy know I'm not a celebrity?
I want to ask, like, to really start off this podcast.
Yeah.
Now, like, we've had Newfoundland like artists, acts on. Just tell me, I guess, your interest, like how you got involved in music, and then basically how the music NL community is kind of like, it just seems like a big family. It's almost like the way I look at it. Now I know we kind of mentioned prior about like being wrestling fans. It almost feels like you're attacking a member of the bloodline. Like if I went and said, Peter Vance, man, don't get him. Then like 5 people come at me and be like, I'm not doing your show. I love Peter Vance. And then I'd be like, I have an opinion. They're like, yeah, well, you just messed with a member of our family. And I'm like, I didn't know you was that big.
Literally, yeah. Like you can't treat one fella one way and then the next fella treat him a different way. You can't. This is just we're all in this together. And like I was talking to the boys the other day, and I was like, it's so crazy how we're all just going through. We're all on this one wave, and we're just rushing through George Street pretty much. And everybody's playing. Like we have our group is at every bar down there. Like we have all the bars pretty much in our pocket. So like the boys are at Green Sleeves. Then I have Trinity's Pub, and we have buddies at Rob Roy. So like everywhere in between, like there's somebody you're going to see one of the boys playing and singing, and that's so crazy. It's so unreal.
So like, how did you kind of get into the music aspect? Because I know, like for me, for podcasting or broadcasting, it was, and I think it's kind of interesting in a long-winded story. It's just I got into Conan O'Brien's like The Tonight Show, so I wasn't getting like. I liked The Tonight Show, but I wasn't getting the best of Conan because apparently Conan's late night show was better. And then I'll go back and watch those clips, and I'm like, yeah, he had like more freedom in New York. He moves it to LA. I get it, but I still like Conan because I thought he just did really good interviews, and it was never like come across as like he's here to plug the show or this guy's here. It just came across more like friendly, and I was like, man, that sounds like a great career. I'd like to do that. And then you over time, you just be like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, I need to be good at public speaking. I need to be good to be engaged with people, but I also got to try to keep on like certain topics, right?
Yeah.
But like, definitely. So how did you get into the music realm? Did someone just say one day, like, oh, you got a sick name, that's this music name? Or were you just like, I like this song, I want to try to sing this song?
Yeah, like pretty much. So what happened was like I was always an avid music fan, so like right from the beginning, Backstreet Boys were a big hit for me. I love the Backstreet Boys for some reason. I think it was just the songwriting and the way the whole industry of it, like the choreography, the way they actually put off a show. It wasn't just getting up there and singing, like it was more good. So that kind of interested me, and then from there, I kind of fixated on the idea of selling emotion. Okay, not selling it, but making it come out in people. Like so, like I watched. I think my first experience that like myself personally had was when I was at the Eastbound Hoedown, and I saw Dallas Smith for the first time, and he was engaging with the crowd. Like everybody else was just up there, and they would get up and sing, and they'll walk out to the front of the stage, and they'll walk back. But Dallas was like jamming with people while he was on stage. Like he was watching their faces, and he knew who was into it and who wasn't. And this is where he would go on the stage, and this is where he would get the biggest pop, literally. And it was just something to watch. And I was like, man, I fell in love with that whole idea of making people feel a certain way with the words that you wrote. Like that's crazy. And like that's something that this is what got me addicted to it pretty much.
Okay, so like, were there certain, just say, artists that you were kind of like? I know you mentioned the Backstreet Boys. Like, I'm a big Backstreet Boys fan myself. Like, my cousin had, I think it was like one of their first albums. It was like, I think it's Get Down was on it, And like,
Yeah, man, that was
and
back in blue, I think, black and
yeah,
blue or something like that.
yeah, it could have been. Now, it could have been earlier than that one. Like I know Black and Blue was the first one I had, but this one it was like I was just repeating it. Like you'd have the CD player at night, it would
Yeah,
get worn out because you're just listening to it the whole night.
yeah,
But
the scratches.
I remember like getting up in the morning, seeing their videos on Much Music, and literally being like, "No, I'll be 5 minutes late for school. I want to see this
Yeah,
music video." And but for me, I just thought like, okay, that's interesting. Like this is how they presented. Now, if I was ever going to be a musician, like yeah, I look at the Backstreet Boys, and then after a while, when you get older, you're like, well, I don't have like four other guys. We're not like
yeah.
really good singers. We don't have really a backstory. So then I would look and be like, oh well, I like Garth Brooks. I like
That's
his
what I
story
mean.
side, right? And like then I look at like Sam Hunt, Sam Smith, and then I'm just
Yep.
like, but like you look at it, and then sometimes you just gotta like be honest with yourself, and be like, man, I can't hit the notes of Sam Hunt when he talks, but you don't realize that there was no one like Sam Hunt probably sat in his room and probably was like, I can't do that, and then now someone's like everyone transitions to that's their
Exactly.
style, right? But I just think it's interesting because there's certain artists that I'll look up to, and I'd be like, I could have did that one day, and then realize you're like when you get older, like, no, I couldn't have done that. That's why I'm
Yeah,
here.
like exactly. Like I probably would have broke my leg trying to do all those dance moves. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, and I can't dance. I
Yeah,
cannot dance. So like that was out of the question. I could not be a Backstreet Boy. You know what I mean? I couldn't be
yeah,
like the 6th or 7th Backstreet Boy. So that was out of the question. So I just went, yeah, like I took to the emotional side of music. So I took the emotional side of Backstreet Boys pretty much and all their sappy, sad songs,
yeah.
and took it into the country side of things and the songwriting side of things, more or less like a, I don't know if I would call it. Yeah, I guess I evolved from one thing to the next because it was like
Okay,
it's all music, you know what I mean? So I evolved from looking at music as just like music to looking at it as okay, this is something that I can do and I can harness this side of music. You know what I mean? It's just a different avenue down that same path.
almost like kind of like a performance arts kind of perspective of it. Like I can still do the songs, but it's like okay, like I want to get like there are people that go up and sing. There are people that can go up and sing and dance, and that's it. Like you paid to see that. But then there's other people that will include you in their set per se,
Exactly. And
and
this yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where you like you kind of want to go down that stream. Like I've never been to a John Mayer concert or an Ed Sheeran concert. I would have loved to, but I
Yeah.
kind of have a feeling that like when you're at John Mayer's concert, now I could be dead wrong in this, but I feel like you're paying to see John Mayer. You like if he comes out and sings and leaves, you got to respect that. Like that's just
Yeah, I
his
know what you
style.
mean.
But
Yeah.
like Ed Sheeran might be like, hey, by the way, you know that song you like by Justin Bieber? I'm gonna sing that because it's mine.
Yes.
Like I wrote that.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
he's
And
gonna like
that's the difference.
right, and then he's gonna kinda show you, like, because I know he does stuff on TikTok or Instagram where he shows you, like, how he's basically doing all the parts of the song, and I feel like he'd maybe do that on stage where if now again, he could be very quiet, but he might bring up an audience member and be like, "Okay, I've got this already started. All I need you to do is just keep your foot moving like this," and then I'd be like, "He's getting you engaged." Now, I could be dead wrong, Ed Sheeran could be, like,
But
going on
yeah, no,
stage
but that's yeah,
yeah,
like I can see that. I totally agree. Totally agree with that because like I'm after seeing him with just a looper pedal on his stage and nothing else and a guitar, and he just did it from all that. And I was like, oh man, this dude's like
yeah,
he can feel it, he can see it, right? And this is what I want to do. I want to mimic that and not mimic it, but do it in my own way. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And then
Yeah, like there's
there's other people you just tune into, like, I remember, like, Charlie Puth had, like, the one song when I was not really young, but I remember it was, like, I never was into, like, the Fast and Furious movies, but I
no,
know when Paul Walker I think it's, like, Paul Walker
I
died,
think it was yeah.
it's, like, Wiz Khalifa now, I was big on Wiz Khalifa, but, like, that song, and then I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna have, like, a nice career because he has a nice sound," and then he just, kinda just disappeared, and then he, like, reemerges, but, like, not to be an artist, like, I know he's still an artist, but it was more or less like, look how talented he is because he's like, "Hear this octave, hear that octave, give me that sound, I'm gonna take that." I'm just like, "Buddy, I don't care
Yeah.
if you ever release another song, there are gonna be artists coming to you and just being like, you have this mastered somehow in your head, like, just be a producer." And if that was, like,
Yeah.
literally the next, like, 10 years, you see artists come out and be like, "Produced by," I'm like, of course
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
because we
This is where
always
they're making
knew."
their money. They're making their money that way too, right? So
Yeah,
that's wonderful. It's the best of both worlds too, because you can not be in that like limelight and be like you have to be this certain person character type thing. You can be yourself and still do what you love without having to be on a tour. Essentially, if you want to do a pop-up show, it's no trouble for Charlie Puth to do a pop-up show, I'm sure. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, I can see me rolling down that avenue more or less than the, oh my God, I'm a big star, I want to be Justin Bieber. Like, I don't want that. Like, I just want to, if I had 50 people a night in a little bar somewhere in Nashville, that would be my dream come true. That would be my life right there, and that would be you would see me there the rest of my days. You know what I mean? That's where
it's more or less like oh sorry, it's more or less like the intimacy, like because you I guess with a smaller crowd you get to interact more, but you can get a little bit more personal. Like I always look at like say like a CMT Crossroads, or I think they might have had CMT Campfires, where sometimes it's like, now if they don't, I just gave them a brilliant idea, but it's just like if you have like artists sitting around that know each other but you didn't think they'd interact with each other, and then they're just sitting around a campfire singing songs to like, and there could be an audience there, like, you know, within that. But I think that's kind of cool, right? Because it's like it's intimate, but at the same point, it's like it's still an audience compared to like a big hall where you're like, how's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. It's like, I don't see any of your faces. I can't really interact with you.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean there. I totally do. Like it's one thing. Like I want it to be a magical experience more or less than just like go and get a headache and go home. Like I know some people like that aspect of things, going out and doing the mosh pit thing and all this other stuff. But like for me, no, like I just want to create a safe place for people to. I'm not saying that a mosh pit is not safe. I'm sure they have, but like it's less of a chance of getting hurt at my show. You know what I mean? So
I've been to like, so the only two concerts I can recall going to, another, the span and the location obviously makes a difference, but I went to see Vince Gill in Newfoundland, and I only knew one song by Vince Gill. I was only young. It was like, I think it's like Feels Like Love or whatever. Like once the second chant. And I was just like, man. And like, you're young. So you're like, man, he better sing that song. And then I'm out. But then you got to remember you're going with your parents. You kind of got to hold. And then I was like, oh man, all these other songs are very gospel-y. I'm like, I'm not enjoying it. But I was still old enough to enjoy the fact that he was entertaining throughout, like, you know, the different songs. He made a joke about the last time he was here was like 1980, and he's like, he's been in the sky ever since because it was so foggy. And I'm like, he gets it. He's got either a writer. And then I went to see Garth Brooks in Ottawa. Total different experience, not in a bad way. It's just that they had the moving stage, so he would sing so many songs to you, and then it was like the stage was kind of like rotate, so like very slowly. He's rotating, and so he's getting all the audience. And at first I was like, you motherfucker. I'm just like, you're getting all your money, and I'm just like, I'm only getting to see half of you. But then like afterwards, I was just like, no. It was like, it wasn't like it was like super fast. It was very slow.
It was just like
but you get like most of the song, and then the next song you're like, okay, now they get the most song, and everyone's leaving happy.
It's a common courtesy thing. Yeah.
But I was just like, man, to get all that, like, you know, different acts do different things, but like the intimacy still to try to provide it is kind of like,
because it's so big.
I don't know how they do it, because sometimes I'm going to complain that if I went to see a Rascal Flatts concert, I'm like, dude, I got to be like front row. They'd be like, yo, I love the movie Cars and I love that song. And they'd be like, I see you. But if I'm like, you know, up in the nosebleeds, they're just going to be like, I see a girl there that has cancer. I'm just like, my sign says I love Cars, the movie. Like
literally. Yeah, exactly. Like they're mistaken the things. But like I've been at places where there's been like not even half the stadium full, you know what I mean? But like they had half the stadium. I'm not going to say the band because I don't want to make them feel bad. But they couldn't fill up the stadium halfway, and like that must be a bummer too. Like to not get a showing of the people that you thought were loyal fans. You know what I mean?
But here, the Brian Tobin band. You can say it was the Brian Tobin band.
No, it was Rodney Slade band. I would say, but no, like it was a weird experience there too, because Newfoundland is like a hit and miss sometimes when it comes to booking concerts and booking people, because like if you're not a huge name, like it's going to be hard to sell out like Mall One Stadium or Mary Brown Center. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's bad. It's
a tricky market just because location, and I think like this is where I would love to sit down with someone and just kind of like dissect of how they figure this out. Because just say like Shania Twain's coming here, but it's just like she's not coming to, well, we call it mile 1, could be Mary Brown Center. Like
Mary Brown
I'm
Center,
still,
yeah.
but like
I
it's
still
almost
frequent it.
like I don't know if she could have came here in the past, but I'm just so like, why is it that she's going here? Why is Nickelback going to Churchill? Like, like why
Yeah.
aren't they coming? And it's like, is it that they have a team that looks into like a demographic and they're just like, according to our Facebook fan page or according to these, like, you're not really hitting a lot here. So if we go for a smaller venue, we're going to be more successful. Like,
Yeah, I think that I see that what you're saying there, like the aspect of having it not in a seated stadium,
yeah,
and like everybody can be free and walk around and enjoy the concert wherever you want to be. That's the I think. But now, like with a lot of people, it comes like, okay, a lot of people are not going to get up to the front, but that's going to be given. But like if you sell a certain amount of tickets only, and like you don't like put it at capacity, then you have like that freedom to walk around. Like I know at Best Con Barbecue, like I guess I know people maybe were away in the summertime, and like but they did have a good turnout, but it was so perfect that like nobody was bumping into you, nobody was shoving you, you know what I mean? Like you could know where to walk, and like people were just sitting in the grass, and it was pretty like much like Woodstock. Like it was unreal. It was a great time there, but yeah, I just wish like we had more of that here.
I think most times, and the other downfall of it sometimes is like when acts finally do decide to come here, it's almost like it's their swan song, or it's like their not that I'm surprised sometimes it's like you feel like it's their end, and they'll come out and do more songs, and you're just kind of like I felt years ago when Backstreet Boys came here, I was just like, oh, of course they've done their world tours. They've done the music videos where they show their fan appreciation. Why not come here? And at that point, I didn't really want to see them. Like, I'm a big fan, but it's just like, I kind of know what to expect. It's almost like this is like what you're going to do for us is the same stuff you did like 20 years ago, but we've never experienced it. So you're like, yeah, we can get away with like just kind of dialing it in. But like,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I know what you mean.
Like
they come here to like maybe relax and have like a nice trip,
they
and we'll
know that.
play a gig.
Yeah, like it's like, for example, like again, I don't know if they've been here. I think she has. I could be wrong, but it was like Reba. But I'm sure if Reba came here, right, it's almost like, oh, you guys have never seen me, so you don't know what any of my shows are like. So like I can just kind of just lay back, and maybe they don't. This is just me again taking the hot take. But like if you've gone to see, say, Tim McGraw in Toronto compared to here, I bet you there's a different vibe. And I bet you
would say,
like I've seen, well, not me, but my nan and my mom went to see Alan Jackson in Edmonton, and the opening act at the time was Brad Paisley, an unknown Brad Paisley.
An unknown at the time.
Right. Yeah. But then it turns into Brad Paisley. So that's like an interesting sidestep that later on in life, you're like, hey, we got to see him before he was anybody.
Exactly.
But Alan Jackson come to Newfoundland, you're not getting Brad Paisley opening up. You're probably going to get like someone like, I've seen this guy a couple of times downtown. Like, not saying that he's not bad or like not good, but it's just like, who knows? He could go somewhere. He might not. Who knows? But it's just a different perspective altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just looking at different, like the way I see it here, like they can have anybody really, but like they're going to stick to a script. There's a certain script, there's a certain agenda that they're going to have. You know what I mean? It's going to be like Reba say, like she came here and she might have did a laid back set, but she enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Yeah. She did it, but it was just a different script that night. You know what I mean? So like that's, and I think that could be like that for everything, for like every show, different city every night, a different show every night, for like specifically for that city and for that town, for the people that and what they do.
I want to ask you with like, again, the music NL scene, because like I've only dived into that in the last few years because, you know, I've gotten to know a few of these bands or a few people. I mean, this is going to probably be a tough question for like, you know, and feel free to answer it like whichever way you do, because I don't think I've asked this to anyone else. But it's like, I grew up in a time frame where when you turned on CMT, there was the Ennis Sisters, there was Great Big Sea, there was Alan Doyle, you know, maybe, and then again, like you turn on the radio, you'd hear Celtic Connection, and you felt proud. You felt proud to hear like these Newfoundland artists. You felt proud to watch them on CMT, and you'd be like, wait, Ennis Sisters are number 5, and then number 4 is Kenny Chesney. Like, oh my God, we're in the same realm. That's so cool. But I don't know if it's maybe just the landscape of how like you kind of have to do music now or kind of promote it. But I feel like we have a lot of good artists here. They are trying to make their way, whether it be in Nashville or whatever. But I just don't see like it doesn't feel like it's sticking. It doesn't feel like there's that whole exposure. Like if I want to go enjoy myself, yeah, I'll go downtown and yeah, I'll see like Rodney or Peter or Rachel or Mallory or Quote the Raven, whoever, and I'll enjoy it. But it's like I want them to get to that next level where if I go to Ontario, Quebec, anywhere across the world, that people will be like, yes, I know them and they're from Newfoundland, and I feel proud that those guys are from here and you know them. But it kind of feels like they don't. It's almost like if they get invited to Ontario, that little small niche knows them. But if you're like 3 weeks from now going to like, I don't know, Toronto and something, be like, ever hear Quote the Raven? They're like, do you mean like the wrestler Raven? It's like, no.
Yeah, I
Literally, they
know
were
what you
here
mean.
like 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. Like, so like, do you think, how would you justify it? Or I guess in your opinion, like, how do you now get that more exposure or get that um, more people listening? Because I know we have Spotify and things that they can still download it, which makes it somewhat easier. But Quote the Raven actually said like the amount of money that goes into your Spotify account for like downloads is like bare shit. And I'm just like, I don't even look at my Spotify account anymore. I'm
Yeah,
not making
no,
money on it. Yeah.
I yeah, like I haven't looked at mine either. I don't think I ever will, but
Yeah.
it's something else because like it's more or less a momentum thing.
Okay.
Momentum, I find like if it's if you got if you got the ball rolling,
Yeah.
you have to put your foot on the gas, full throttle, and do not ever take it off until you feel like you cannot go anymore. You know what I mean? And if you can do that, and in between all of this, you will find yourself. You will find what you want and how to get it. So, like, for example, for me, like this year, I just really wanted, like, this is my maybe third or fourth podcast, but like this was in my thing this year to make more podcasts, do more podcasts with people. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm making that happen, but slow but surely, and you have to like give yourself a pat on the back for these little tiny
Yeah.
accomplishments that you're doing, because that's what it is. And it might not seem like a lot. It might not seem like, oh my god, this is not CMT and we're not talking on live
Yeah. Yeah.
television, right? But we are, and in my mind, this is the biggest show I've ever had yet. You know what I mean? And like,
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no disrespect to anybody else, but like, you know what I mean? Like, guest wise, like the people you've had on the show is phenomenal. So to be considered to be on the show with those other people, this is a very big honor for me. So this is a big accomplishment. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll celebrate that later tonight. Maybe I'll write a song about it. You know what I mean? So it's you have to.
It'd be like by next season, it's just be like, hey, didn't he used to have his own jingle? Now Rodney has the intro music for Brian. It's just like, yeah. And then it's like, he's going places.
There you go. This is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean. And that can be arranged. That can be arranged.
I want to ask you, because I'm in the same boat. I feel like, same in the media realm. But I remember when I first started this and you're trying to get people on and you don't have material, but you just want to get like, you're trying to get the material. But it's like, you're at that like circle where it's like, well, I need to get the material to get this person on, but I don't got the material. But like, I need to get the material to get this person on. Can you give me the material so I can get this person and go? It just goes on a loop. But
yeah,
I want to ask you, like, where do you kind of see that mindset too? Like, because you said I got to do more podcasts, I got to do more media. Like, do you find, even if it's a small step, some days you're kind of like, oh man, like you look at it afterwards, you're like, okay, did that really do much for me? Like, why am I doing this? Is there another realm I can go? Because I've jumped on other people's, I guess, podcasts or shows, and like sometimes I'm just looking at and you could have someone in your ear being like, you got to stay in this realm because you want to be on entertainment podcasts or you want to be on like music ones so they can see your strengths. And I'm just like, man, I'll just go on anyone's podcast. You could talk about murder mysteries and I'll make it either like funny or like at least just give me a plug. Like at the end, just be like, yo, we had Brian on from this podcast. I'll be like, and if someone comes over and listens to an episode and then they stick around, great. But and I guess it's the same with other acts, like we were mentioning earlier, trying to get people on. They look at like, okay, what's the mass audience? will they know who you are? How will this, like, what's the end goal? But is that kind of like how your mind process goes with
Yeah,
podcasting and stuff? Like,
like doing everything, like doing it, like, so all music aspects, like everything. So like promotion, writing songs, having that public character, public figure, having a story and that you stick to because it's true and it's your real story. This is where like you have to have your roots dug there. And when that circle starts to happen and you feel like you're having a this because of this, because of this, because of
yeah,
this moment, jump out of that loop and
yeah,
go and do something brand new, something that you've never ever done before with podcasting. Go and refresh your whole page. Do something. Do
yeah,
something that you wouldn't do normally. And this is what breaks that cycle. I've learned. This is what I've done. And
yeah.
like I've been in days where I've just been here, sat down in a chair for at least 3 hours before I even got work going. And I would make myself sit here until I did something. So that's the things you got to do. And that's some things like discipline is a big thing, and patience.
Yeah.
Two major things in any entertainment business, I would say.
I find it, like, I agree with what you said. There's one part that I was going to say, like, discipline for sure. There are days like I will, like, for example, I know this is going to come up on the weekend where I'm just like, man, at some point I got to do editing. I got to like put this all together. And like you like have it envisioned in your mind. Like, I'm going to set 3 hours aside. I'm going to take breaks, but I'm going to do 3 hours aside and edit the episode. And then like you get to the day, you're like, and it just stays in your mind like, oh, I got to do that. I was like,
Yeah.
no. So what I've started doing is I got a calendar here and I'll just space it out of like, do 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that. And then by the end of the week,
Yeah.
it feels like you've accomplished it rather
Yeah.
than like put it all in one day. But there are still times that I'll go on like Instagram or something. I'm just like, oh, like,
Yeah.
like you're just like,
Should've.
now I have, okay, I've got the episode done, but now I got to come up with a clip. And then if your
Yeah.
computer's not working for you, like now I'm behind. Now I got to come up with like 40 clips within like the next 40 days. And
Yeah.
then like it just starts to stress on you. But like I know there's like celebrities out there that you'll go on Instagram and then that kind of motivates you because you see their inspirational shit. But it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like nothing gets built in a day. Just take it piece by piece. I'm like, thank you, Samuel L. Jackson. Like I will. It's just
So it
like,
feels like it knows them personally, and it's like, oh my god, yes.
yeah. And it's just like I think there was like one with Tom Brady I shared the other day where it's just like, you can't control the outcome, just control your chance. And I was like, okay. So like I can't control that my computer's like being messed or like a system's not working, but at least I can have the thing ready for when it is and then like go from there. Or like you don't have to have 20 clips a day. Like you can just space it out. And then like, if people enjoy it, great. But it kind of feels like sometimes you put so much pressure on yourself to do something that you're like, man, I'm letting people down. It's like, and people will just be like, you're letting 250 people down. Are you really that concerned? I'm like, somewhat. But then another part of me is
Yeah.
just like, you need your own time. Like, okay, even
Yeah.
if I got out 5 clips in like a month, and then you just start seeing people come, and then someone will be like, man, he's just really slow with uploading. I'm just like, and guess what? I'm enjoying life. Like, this is only supposed to be for fun. It's not supposed to be like, yeah, it's a career. I like it,
Yeah.
but it's not supposed to be like stressful. It's not supposed to be
No,
like,
exactly.
people's gonna like you go up in heaven and God's like, you were supposed to live till 90. Why are you
Yeah.
here at 75? It's like, buddy, I was really good at podcasting. He's like, yeah, but you wasted a lot of time that I gave you to do other stuff because you were so focused on one thing. And I'm like, can I go back down now? Are we done? He's like, no, it doesn't work that way. I'm like,
It's game over now. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
I
I've
was
got
just
that
coma.
worry. Yeah, and literally, yeah, I thought this was my like gonna get sent back down. Like this is just a rapture moment for me. But yeah, man, like I feel the same way some days, man, and it's just like I find like even when I'm thinking like because I'm still like I don't know how to explain this, man. 10 years ago, say I was wishing and hoping and praying that I would be where I am right now.
Yeah.
So instead of worrying about that thing, that editing the video this weekend, don't even worry about it. Just when it comes up, do it and be like, holy shit, like I'm so thankful that I get to do this right now. And like how many other people are editing a podcast right now on a Saturday night with a cup of tea and a lunch? You know what I mean? It's just these things, and instead of going out spending your money at bar and pissing it away pretty much, you could be doing these things that society and social media doesn't show you the actual way of living, because like the stuff that's going on social media and stuff, I've even in the past couple of days, like I've been around long enough, like I'm going to be 27 this year, but like I'm not that old, I guess, but I've been around where I had a flip phone. My very first phone was a flip phone. I didn't even have texting. I wasn't allowed to have texting. I had minutes, and I had call my mom when I was wherever I was, and that was it. That was all that phone was for, and calling girlfriends and stuff, I guess. And then
you
I got
girlfriends. Wow, man. Wow. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to mention. I'm not saying nothing about that. I'm not getting myself in trouble. But so after that, I went from the LG to the LG Rumor, and then the LG Rumor 2, and then I had an iPhone. So this is when I started seeing the change. So like, but not at first. It's only been the last, say, 2-3 years that I've noticed how everything is totally revamped and totally different from when I first had Facebook. I see these different ads and stuff, and certain things come up that I'm like, is this really on the internet? Like somebody with a younger mind than mine, they might not see this as a joke. You know what I mean? You might see this as being like, oh my God, maybe I do have to. Like I saw something about Billie Eilish stating something about her sexuality, and I was like, why is that being pushed on children? It's a bit weird. It's it's freaky. So
I agree with you with the whole like just like the landscape of social media, like because I kind of look at it from the exposure of like my brothers and them had ICQ, so really all you needed for ICQ was just like you in order to add someone, you had to know their digits or their like combo. And then we grew up with MSN, which I still think is a lot safer in today's world, where it's like you still had to add someone by their email. So that means in order to know their email, you had to go talk to them. Or
you have to be a person
that would give you that email. And then still that person had to accept you. They could like, and you wouldn't know. Like they could come up with an excuse like, I'm never online. And then you're just like, I can't call you out on it because I don't know. But now I feel like with this crowd with Facebook, it's like, you can go on Facebook and you don't know who you're adding. You don't know, like, and there's comments, and then there's stuff that's videos that are shown that you're like, why is this an account? How did this get created?
How?
And, and I agree with you with the phone. When you said you had a flip phone, I had the same thing where I had minutes. And I think if this is how you know, like if you enter a room and you say, don't call me until, and if someone's like 9 o'clock, you're like, okay, I'm going to go over and talk to you because I know you're my age. But if someone's like, don't call me until I'm free, I'm like, no. Or it's like, don't call me ever. I'm like, no. But yeah, and then my two ringtones were literally Hockey Night in Canada and Oh Canada. That's what came with the phone. So like
that's what came with it. Yeah,
you would have like, you know, girls call you or like wanting to hang out at their like at your cabin or whatever, and it's just like and someone's like, that's one of your friends calling you. I'm like, yeah, we'll go with that. That's one of my friends.
Have a certain ringtone.
Yeah. Then they hear the ringtone. They're like, I'm the Hockey Night in Canada ringtone for you. I'm like, I have two. It's either silent or Hockey Night in Canada. And I'm sure I don't want to hear like Oh Canada ring when you're calling me. Next minute, like I'm supposed to be very patriotic, and I'm just like, is that her calling? Why is it I always think of her when I'm listening or watching a hockey game? Like, the ringtone. Okay, no.
It's the ringtone. It's the ringtone. It's all in the ringtone. Man, I can remember we used to have to buy our ringtones like for like $2.90 or $2.30, but like these expensive ones would be like if you had to get like 50 cents in the club was like $5 or something. I was like, holy shit.
My mom will tell you about that cell bill. It was like you had the browsing history and you had to pay for browsing history if you didn't pay for that. And I remember downloading so many Fall Out Boy songs and like rap songs because I wanted to be cool. So like when someone called, you'd hear like one night, one last night. And then you're just like, I'm so cool. And then next minute your mom's just like, $345 for what? And then
I'm canceling this.
I'm just like, I don't know where that came from. And then you look and you'd be like, how? Like the ringtones didn't cost much, but it was the browsing history. You go on that for 2 seconds, they're charging like $10.
$10 a second.
And you're like, damn. Like that's where it came from.
But literally, like, and they're still doing that today. It's just that we don't notice it. Like, if you subscribe to something, like, you know what I mean? They're doing this thing now where it's not by month anymore. It's like annually. And the best thing you can get is annually. And you pay like $300 at one time. And it's like, they got you right away. It's like, oh, shit.
I'd be surprised at how many stuff that I'm supposed to use for podcasting that I probably don't use as often. And it might be just cheaper to go by monthly because of what you do. But then the yearly one is supposed to be like cheaper, so you do that. But then like you kind of look over time, you're like, I'm not noticing it. I don't. And then like one day you'll wake up and be like, hold on a second, I could have saved that much more money if I did that. But it's just like, man, that's still a hassle to kind of like go back every month and be like, subscribe, put in your password. I'm like, yeah, just yearly, just do it.
Yeah, I know
whatever.
What you mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth it too. There's a bunch of other stuff like editing stuff that I got on my computer, and like it's only like $7 a month or something like that. So that's pretty good. I can't complain. So I don't mind, like, you know, paying a month thing. But like when it comes to yearly stuff, like I got to watch what I'm buying because I'm after doing it so many times. Losing out so much money.
I want to ask you, like, okay, so we're in the year. I was about to say 2023, but we're not. That goes to show my mind. We're in like 2024. Like, give me, I guess, some goals you have for 2024. Like, what are some summer plans you have? I'm going to mention this because, again, this is all out in the open. Again, it's friendly conversation. But, like, Peter was actually the one because we've had Peter on. And Peter had recommended, hey, why don't you ask Rodney? And I was like, nice. Sure. And then he was telling me, now, again, this could be like, you can go after him after if it's not true. But he was like, he's like, go talk to Rodney. Like, Rodney has a song out. He's got a few, like, you know, songs that he might want to talk about. And I'm like, sure. So all in one loophole here. Like, do you have any kind of summer plans? Goals that you have for 2024, and if you have any like latest songs out, because I've gone through the Instagram, I've seen a couple that were there like March, and I was listening to it, but man, sometimes those clips you post are really short that I'm just like, sure, it's like your Post Malone with this new song. We are waiting for the Post Malone song to drop, and it's just like, dude, I've heard the 20-second clip, give me more. Now I go to your page and it's just like, dude, more. Where's the more? So I.
This is what I mean. Yeah. So, but you're coming back. You're always checking the page then, see, and you're.
Sniper. That's what you are. You're
But geez, man, like I got a lot coming off. I think, man, like hopefully it all doesn't fall through. But I going to Ontario on May 5th, so that's coming up soon. I'm doing a little radio tour up there, so I got like a full week flying up there and going up to stay with a couple of my buddies and doing some hotel nights, of course. But I got a lot of good friends up there. They're going to let me stay, and that's going to save a little bit of money on the bank book. So, what else? Well, the new song, it just got on Sirius XM. We got added to that station, which is huge. We're so thankful for that. That was mind blowing because it was the second time I got put on Sirius. So my first song, If Then Was Now, got put on. That was back. It was 2021, I do believe. Okay. And then the following year, I released U-Turn Town, and I rode that one. That one didn't get picked up by Sirius, unfortunately, but I rode that one because that's when like everything was going with COVID and stuff like that, right? It was all up in the air. So I rode that one for a year and just released this new one now, like early, or maybe it was I think it was last July, I'm pretty sure we released this last one. And we've been riding on that one for a while. So we got another one coming out now, hopefully this June. And we got a remix coming out of the Lazy and the Good for Nothings, which is the current one we have out. So that one is doing really good. We that song just came out of nowhere. It was just a note I had written on my phone, the Lazy and the Good for Nothings. My dad used to say, he was like, are you going to be lazy and good for nothing or going to do something with your life, pretty much? And I was like, I guess I'll go at the music because I was a linesman at first. And I gave it all up to go back at this because I just love music. I was just dead set on doing this. Somehow I wanted to fall somewhere amongst the music industry people. And whether it be behind the scenes or on a stage, right? So this is where I am with everything, and I'm just looking forward to playing gigs. I got a bunch of gigs in Ontario while I'm up there, and yeah, man, it's going to be a good summer, I believe. There's going to be, I think they have some more announcements. This is what I'm talking about, so I can't really talk about a few things because,
that's fair.
But if all said and done and all signed off and green lighted, it's going to be wild summer.
Yeah, we're not TMZ. It's not like I'm just there like do, and it's like Rodney Slade says he's supposed to go here this summer. We're gonna find out if it's true or not. Like, it's like, no, it's okay. Like,
that could be an angle. That could be a side show. That could be a side thing. And
yeah, listen. We've had, so I think the last week we've had Georgia Webster on, and she had mentioned again, like, I thought it was like, I'm not bitching at an artist for doing it because obviously they have their own people to answer to, but she's like, yeah. It's like, I got this song coming out. I can't tell you the name, but it's going to be really good. And I was like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to be like, how dare you? How dare you come on this show and not give me any tidbits of anything? It's like, and then like later on, I was just like, I think she posted it yesterday or the day before. That's going to be out sometime in May. So you can kind of listen to the preview. And I was just like, if you knew you were going to do that much, you could have said, you could have just said like, hey, here's the name of the song. But then again, she might have had to answer to someone else.
True enough. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's like me coming on a show tomorrow, and if I had a guest way down the road, and then I was just like, by the way, we're going to have this person on, they could email me tomorrow and be like, you ruined it. We're not doing that now. And I'd be like, but I've already talked about it. Yeah. And then they're just like, well, now you just look stupid. And I'm just like, I didn't need your help for that anyway. I did it myself.
Literally.
Like,
yeah. Definitely, man.
The last thing I want to do here before, like, to kind of wrap it up, we do this with everyone. It's a fun game of random questions. Okay. All right. If you had like a dream artist that you could perform with, who would it be? Like, you could either collaborate with them. They don't have to be on your song. You can be an asshole and be like, yo, I just want to write with you. Don't perform with me. Or you can actually perform with them. Which would it be?
It would probably have to be Dallas Smith and the boys, definitely. Like, his whole band, I'm pretty sure he got a couple Newfoundlanders in his band now, Chad Murphy, and so the boys are doing really well. And like, that would be just so cool to experience what they experienced and what I saw that day at Eastbound Hoedown. Like, that was something like that stayed with me right up until right now. Like, I think about that all the time when I'm playing my shows. I want to try to replicate that feeling that I felt. So yeah, man, it has to be Dallas Smith for sure.
Okay. All right, let's see what the next random one here is. Okay. Like, these are kind of random, but they're based on career. So I'll like kind of mix it up here. But this one says, when you're on the road or on a tour or like just performing at a show that's not local, is there like a go-to place or like a go-to food you have to have before a show or after a show? Like, do you have kind of like a routine? Like, I know for me, like, I play sports. I've learned the hard way. Don't have McDonald's before a game. No, you can have it after the game for sure, but like, don't have anything too heavy. Like, I think in high school I had a milkshake before we just went into the gym, and boy, that did not go over well. They're like, man, you're not hitting your threes today. I'm just like, I've never hit threes ever, so I don't know what you're talking about, Frankie. Today, and then it's like, but today you're definitely not hitting close.
You're like, starting to look a little white.
This milkshake did not. It went down fine. It's not settling down.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean, man. I had this thing where I used to go, and I still do it. I go to, I don't even know. It's the Celtic Hearth. Okay. So like, you go in, and I just sit at the bar, like, pretty much just go there every time. So that's where I go before my gigs at Trinity. Pretty much, I just go there. I get some chicken Alfredo. I get chicken Alfredo every time. Every single time. They know what I want. When I come in, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, get whatever. Double rum and Coke and then fruit chicken Alfredo. So that's like kind of my go-to every time. I just go there. I go down early. I go down, set up, look around the room, make sure that everything is best going or whatever. And yeah, man, that's what I do. That's just my ritual every time. And before I go on stage, I'm just down in the basement in Trinity's pub, pretty much just playing, or in the back room or rec room, and just playing and getting warmed up and stuff. So yeah, it's just the things that I do before a show.
The first time they called you Chicken Boy, were you like kind of offended, or were you kind of like, no, that makes sense? Like, maybe they didn't even call you Chicken Boy, but like, now next time you go in there, it's like, hey, look, it's Chicken Boy. Or like, are you? Like, you trying to say I'm my stature? And they're like, no, we know that's what you're going to order. So that's what we, and then you're like, oh, sorry. I'm just kind of on one today. Like,
pass the man or something like that. They're going to come up with a name somehow. They're going to come up with something. Yeah.
Imagine just going and being like Pudding Boy. Be like, dude, I'm the lead singer of Nickelback. Stop calling me Pudding Boy. And then be like, we don't know who you are.
I can see Chad. I can see Chad doing that, actually. Chad Kroger doing that. He's yeah.
We'll do two more. So okay, this one's actually pretty. I like this one. It doesn't have to be music related, but like, have you ever experienced like a red flag in your life, but you still went for it anyway? Like someone was waving the red flag and being like, "Yo, like that should be a sign. Don't go here. Don't do this." But you just like, "I'm doing it anyway." Like I'm either doing it or I'm avoiding that red flag.
Yeah, like my dad pretty much was like dead set against the music thing. He was like, "Are you actually going to quit your steady job? Like you got a steady
Yeah.
job, and you're going to quit and go at music, which is something that's not guaranteed, which is not like you know what I mean. There's no safety net as such." And I'm like, "Yeah, like why not? I got a full life ahead of me. I got 20 years at this if I wanted it. Like it's no different than going back to university." Because that's probably what I would have had to do because I wasn't just happy at my work, what I was doing. So, yeah, I probably would have had to go back to university anyway. So I was like, why can't I just take that money that I'm going to give the government and put it into myself?
Yeah.
That would be a wise idea. Because, you know, it's just, I had to take that chance. And that was the biggest red flag in my whole life was that. And, but it's the one thing I love the most and I had to go for it.
He says, well, he spans over to a wall that has 3 degrees on it. Thank you. Thank you. I pay the government for my food. I went that route. I went that route.
Yeah.
I did like, what was it? I have to look at it now just to be sure. I did communications, sports journalism, and then radio broadcasting. So I mean, I'm still in the realm. It's just that, you know, it's not entirely like the whole genre. I guess I was going to say genre, but the whole landscape of what that is now has changed. Like if I was like 10 years earlier, not my parents because they probably wouldn't understand it, but like I've got people like friends that be like, dude, you would have been like fitting in with like Rick Campanelli and then my Much Music. I'm just like, I know exactly. And
and
then it's just like, but no, I had to be born like 10 years later, which isn't bad because I grew up in the 90s, so I enjoyed it. So I get to see I get to see Much Music and Rick Campanelli and experience it to love this whole landscape. Got to watch like Radio Free Roscoe on the Disney Channel. Is it the Disney Channel or Family Channel? And be like, yo, that show was so cool. I want to be on that show. Be like, do you want to be on that show or do you want to live that show? I'm like, I want to live that show. But now when you say that when you're like 30 odd years old, it's like, I'll live Radio Free Roscoe. They're like, dude, you don't live Radio Free Roscoe. You liked it. And you just, I'm like, oh, that's fair. Cause yeah, it just sounds weird if you're like, I'm living it. It's just like, can you just say you were inspired by it? I'm like, no, I guess, yeah, that sounds more appealing. Yeah, I was inspired by Radio Free Roscoe. I'd be like, okay, that makes more sense.
Nah, I'd rather the first one. But yeah, man, that's it's just been crazy. This whole thing, this whole run of music things, just it's crazy, man. But how it all works out, I love it.
Did you ever give your dad a red flag? Did you ever go like, if he came to you to say something, you're like, Dad, I can't believe you're still doing that. Dad is a red flag.
Well, literally, he comes to me. He's like, "Oh, I got a bad back, got bad legs." I'm like, "Boy, like, should stop climbing 80-foot poles, pretty much, with two spikes on your feet."
Yeah,
man, I don't know. He's sometimes I think I'm smarter than him, you know. Sometimes
he comes back to you and it's like, "This is my passion." You're like, "Well, why can't you relate to me? This is my
passion." Literally, right? Yeah, I know it's me, but yeah, no, he means well, and he's just super scared. He's just scared that I'm gonna fall and. But nah, man, if I fall, I guess he'll be there to catch me. Hey, boy, it's like, you know, as a guardian.
Well, you just told me that he has bad legs. I don't know if
he's gonna have nothing. He got nothing to do with his arms. What odds, man?
You caught me. I mean, we're still technically on the ground, but at least you caught me.
Yeah, like, at least we caught me. Yeah, at least you caught me.
The last one I got here for a random question is: have you ever walked out of any movie, and if so, what one?
Oh man, I think I did walk out of a movie.
Just one. All the rest of them I was like totally okay with.
Yeah, it was only one time, but it was like this weird movie that I thought it was like a horror movie, but it wasn't. It was like this documentary of some Blair Witch thing or something. Okay. It was terrible. Yeah, I had to get out of there. I was like, man, this is not scary. Like this is not like a pop up in your face.
Yeah. Okay. I've walked out of one, but and it's weird to say because I love the guy as like a comedian, I'll defend him. Like not all be stuff because it's like the same with music. Sometimes you like certain artists, certain songs, sometimes you don't. But like Adam Sandler, I love Adam Sandler. I love Mr. Deeds. Love Eight Crazy Nights. There's other ones that are there, and I get it's like an Adam Sandler humor thing where he has these old buddies all in the movie. But
Yeah, that's so cool.
I just could not get through. I think it was like That's My Boy, and it was like supposed to be like Andy Sandberg, like he was just coming off of SNL.
Yeah,
his team with Sandler. Now I've watched it in full later, but like in the movie theaters, I was just like, it's the same dumb humor. It was like certain things that I was just like, man, like I don't get the premise, and I just walked out. I was like so rotted. And
was that the one where his name was something Burger?
I'm not 100% sure. Like the whole premise, I guess, is like he has a crush on the teacher. The teacher apparently has a crush on him, but it's a student-teacher relationship. She ends up going to jail. He ends up having to fucking pay all this alimony, but he goes broke.
I remember that one now.
And then it has nothing to do with the child per se, but the child ends up being okay. Like the child ends up being okay, like grows up to be normal.
Yeah.
But like there are some funny parts in it, like if you get humor, like Rex Ryan apparently saying Tom Brady is like the best quarterback when like he didn't like Tom Brady at the time, so it was like kind of funny.
Yeah, I know, like inside jokes, like you had to be from Boston or New York going on. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's stuff like that's in it, but like, and there's stuff where I think they had what's the guy's Vanilla Ice in it as like a cameo.
Yes, and
he goes, come on, Vanilla Ice, like we're pals. He's like, I got you, and he's like, dude. He's like, come on, you gotta make money off that song. He's like, dude, I owe. Was it like Suge? Every time that song plays, I owe money.
No, I owe money.
And I'm just like, that's good for him because he's like basically shitting on himself. So he got that self humor, but it's just like the whole premise of the movie. After I was just like, dude, I'm done. Like I can't. And my friend was just like, come on, it's Adam Sandler. I'm just like, yeah, but I know the idea. It's like the same with Will Ferrell. Like I used to like Will Ferrell movies, and everyone shits on me for this one, but like Step Brothers. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. Like it just seems like a weird.
It's just funny that the whole movie is like when it starts off on a joke and it's jokes right to the very end.
It's just every movie that I've seen Will Ferrell in. Like I know people have certain sticks,
but
like Will Ferrell just seems like he just screams at me a lot. It's just sort of like, and when I'm younger, I'm just like, man, that's hilarious. When I get older, I'm just kind of like, I don't think that's that great anymore. Like a one that I like from Adam Sandler that like I was surprised. Now it's not a top 10, but just his range was, I think it's like Rain on Me, which is talking about like he lost his wife and kids in 9/11.
Okay.
And like he doesn't play any funny part in that.
No,
it's dead serious. But I'm just like, at first I was like, oh fuck, like where's the punchline? Where's this? And then when you don't look for it, when you finally get like, oh, this is serious. He does pretty good job.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he's actually a good actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think he's up there with like the Mark Wahlbergs and like those people. Okay. Like he can turn it on. No, he can turn it on and off. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's deadly.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I always go back to Mr. Deeds because it's one of my favorites. Yeah. But like I'll watch that and I can't wait till like my niece and nephew are like at an age like they're almost there that I can show them like 8 Crazy Nights. Because again, it's not like my favorite Christmas movie, but there's definitely things in that I know when I seen it when it was their age, like I'd say like 14 or 15, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a cartoon and they're cursing and like they're having deer shit. And then they have like a guy just be like, like, holy shit, is the mom talking to me? And I was like, what is this? This is hilarious.
This is but they can get away with so much more when it's cartoons. See, that's fine.
Oh yeah. And probably at that time frame too. Like now you look at cartoons, and I will give them credit because there are definitely cartoons that I'll see with actors I know, like the guy from The Office. I can't remember, like Krasinski or whatever. And like, there's Ryan Reynolds that are in ones, and like they've got their names made, so movies that come out with them are probably going to do well. But it's like I'll look at them and I'm just like, there's some adult humor in that a kid doesn't get. Like there was one the other day that I seen. I don't know what the movie was, but it was like an evil octopus comes on the screen, and then he's trying to talk to him, but the mic's muted, and then like one of the raccoons is just like, we can't hear the mic, and then like they have another character, and it's just like, man, this is just like FaceTime my parents. And I'm just like, he gets it. gets it. That's for an adult. That's for an adult show. Yeah.
That's for the dad or the mom to get a chuckle. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they've had it in Teen Titans. Like, I've watched it with my nephew, and like, there's an episode that I'm pretty sure it's like Fall Out Boy does a lot of the song and music for it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They talk about how a cartoon gets to air, and there's a lot of like inside jokes there where it's just like, we did it. We got like the wheel spinned and we're on. It's like, no. Now you have to have 4 or 5 episodes, and then you got to wait to see if that goes, and then you got to see if it gets picked up. And they're like, holy shit, that's a lot of work. Like, or well, they didn't say shit, but it was like, holy, that's a lot of work. And then the kids are just laughing at it because it's cartoons, but I'm just like, I'm looking at it and be like, no, shh, I want to hear more. Like,
they're telling the truth.
How does this actually work?
Like, this could be some factual stuff going on here.
Like I'm learning. You're watching it for like Robin and like the relationship with like Beast Boy. I'm just there like watching it like, oh, so it actually does take a spin. And then they make fun of Hollywood where it's just like, and if you're lucky enough to get a season, and I'm just like, because sometimes I wonder, how do these shows get greenlit? And this show was better. And I'm just like, and then they're like, dude, you're taking it way too seriously. It's like next minute you're turning on the Wiggles and you're going to be like, how does Emma wiggle? Like, do her makeup. And then they're like,
who's behind all this? Who's behind all this?
How did you learn those dance moves? Or it's like, what's the one that they watch now? Kids watch like Miss Rachel. I'm just like, Miss Rachel. Like, tell me where you get your degree from in childcare. And then they're like, it's like, buddy, your child has left the room. I'm just like, he's fine. So tell me more, Miss Rachel.
That's going to do it for this episode of Tobin Tonight. Our thanks to Rodney Slade for coming onto the show. Remember, you can find past, present, and future episodes on TobinTonight.com, Spotify, and iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and leave a comment or two. For Tobin and myself, this is Jacob saying thank you for listening and good night.